I'll start that again so you don't hear me saying something to my Google. So, this is what happens when you clean up. No, I haven't found my blue tiles yet, but I'm going to. Cleaning up and downsizing. So I started putting my complete sets into baggies, which will go into the bins in the garage. And I started to find some of the pieces I was missing. As for this guy, the all-terrain vehicle, I mentioned that I was missing the 2x2 double convex slope. I don't know what it's called. So I went into and so okay, back up a little bit. Most of my primary colors, primary Lego colors, not just the primary red, blue, and green, or red, blue, and yellow. That's why I don't understand RGB. If primary colors are red, blue, and yellow, why are we using green for RGB? But somebody explained it to me once years ago. And anyway, so our red, blue, yellow, black, white, and those colors, and even green, for us, for Lego guys, because I have lots of green. When it comes to the slope bricks themselves, originally before they came out with a billion different types of slope bricks, I sorted my slopes by 45 degrees, 33 degrees, and other. And of course, back in the day, there was only 45 and 33. There was no other. Like, I was amazed when they came out with the 1x4 or the 2x4 slope brick when Star Wars came out. And it might have been, I don't know what year the 1x4 or the 2x4 slope brick came out, that has like the longer slope. I am honestly trying to rack my brain. I know that Space Police 2 had those, but the Octane tanker trucks or tanker cars had those octagonal looking things. That's a different slope than a 45 or a 33. But overall, the originals from the 70s and the early 80s was 45 or 33, and they had some miscellaneous when they came out with the 2x2x3 high for the fire stations and stuff like that. And what I use in my classic space layout a lot, those went into miscellaneous because the majority of the slopes were 45 and 33 degrees. I completely forgot that I had two 45-degree slope bins in white. And what I had done for blue especially, and red, not yellow because I don't care about yellow, but for white, I forgot that I did this, is that the 45-degree bins themselves hold the 2x2, the 1x2, the 1x3, the 1x2, the 2x2, the 2x3, and the 2x4 slope bricks, and the inverted ones. So that's what they hold them. The inverted ones, and these guys because they have 45-degree slopes, and these guys because they have 45 inverted slopes. But these, I won't call them specialty pieces, but the peaks of the 45 and the 33, those are more rare. The corners, blah blah. I started putting them in baggies and putting them in there. I forgot that I did that with white. So when I was searching for a 2x2, those 2x2 slopes for this thing, I was looking in the wrong 45-degree bin. And when I pulled out my 45-degree bins just today, oh, there's a baggie in there, and the other one. Well, duh. so in the baggie, we have. These are not the bricks you're looking for. Oh, yes, they are. So there's two of those. But then you got these guys, the double inverted. You got these guys, which, you know, have this little thing on the top. You got the regular ones from the roof line. And then you got these ones that started coming out in Castle and Black, whatever. And, you know, in the whatever. So I put, and then the peak pieces. Right? I started putting those in their own separate baggie just so I wouldn't have to go looking for them in the big bin of just basic slopes. Forgot that I did that with white until right now. So this is kind of like an addendum. But I thought, you know, this is why I think I'm going to start sorting more and more like Jeff does all the time, And again, with that, I will be able to downsize, because this has always been my point for the last bunch of years. For the majority of us, there are exceptions to this rule. It's like French conjugation. There are exceptions to this rule. But for the vast majority of Lego collectors and builders, forget Lego collectors for a second, because if you're not a builder, then we'll classify two different departments: Lego collectors and Lego builders. Lego builders, Lego mock builders for themselves or for shows or for whatever. Lego builders have usually, 98% of us have a collection, a vast collection. It could be small vast or big vast. There are people with bigger collections than me by far. But we have a collection where 99.9% of the pieces in our collection are not going to be used. Period. They're not going to be used. I got pieces in here dating back to my childhood. I can guarantee, if I actually thought about it, they've never been in a mock. They've never been built since I put the original set together back in 1976. They've never been. The blue doors that came in the airplane set, I got dozens of those doors. I have only used 2 in the airplane because I rebuilt it. The blue airplane. The 1x3x3 door with the blue for 2 studs high and then the clear on the top. I'm not going to pull it down because I have to stand up. And I'm just too lazy. So I have a bunch of those doors that I will never ever use. Now I know that, unless I build a fleet of planes, but I haven't yet for 40 years. so it's not like I'm going to build a fleet of planes today. And so 99% of our pieces will never ever use. And overall, we don't know which ones are not going to be used. We don't. And so you guys see my layout, and I'm talking about it enough. You see my layout that you look at my room, there's no red in the layout. So I have a whole shelf full of red pieces. I do. I got a whole shelf full of red pieces, all sorted, all, whatever. And then I use some black, but I got a shelf of black. And Blay and dark Blay, I won't use at all overall right now. I'm going to at some point, but I don't use them. But they're here, so all those pieces are sitting here. So the idea is, for me, going forward, and it's just because it's not that I can't do it, and it's not that I have any concerns about doing it right now. My issue is that I'm at that age now, and I think I'm voicing out loud. This is me voicing out loud an issue that is either percolating consciously or subconsciously in a whole bunch of Lego fans that are my age or above. Because I am, on the scale of Lego fans and the general fandom of the world right now, I'm on the far side of age. Not the younger side, the older side of age. If there is a median halfway point of Lego fans that are playing with Lego and building and going to shows and blah, blah, I'm on the older side. And I won't say by far, but, and most of my friends are my age too. So, I mean, obviously we're hanging around a group, but I also know there are just a lot more younger fans on the younger side that are doing stuff. And so 60 is coming up. 60 is coming up and 70 is coming up. And again, I've been to shows where some of our fellow displayers and friends of mine are 70, 80 plus years old. And they love this. They love the hobby just as much as we do, but they're not. They don't want to, nor should they have to, lug in those 8 big boxes of Classic Space Display or Jeff's Castle Display, lugging it in, lugging it out. They bring a cute little mock, or sometimes just across a couple tables, that a couple cardboard boxes, like we used to do when we were younger before we got, hey, let's make something huge. So I think it hasn't happened yet, physically and mentally, because I'm still enthused and want big displays for me to do for everybody. But there will come a time, and it's not fast approaching, but it is approaching. And I don't know when that day is going to be. That's also the thing. I do not know when that day is going to be. But when it arrives, I want to be mentally prepared for it. Also, on top of which, I want this to be at least ready, if not already in the process of being downsized. Because I will say this, when I'm retired, and that can be, in 3 years or 7 years, give and take, or 8 years. I want to not worry about this here, because it's a concern. It's a growing concern. We talked about this on LugNet years ago about people passing away and what's the family going to do with the Lego collection. Because when we were back in LugNet days, there were some people, like my collection was not nearly as big as it is now back then. But there were other people in LugNet, huge dedicated fans that had unlimited resources and unlimited time for whatever life circumstances got them to have, hey, I can buy a Lego I want. And they had, for me, to them. But they had, and then they passed away at 40 or whatever. And all of a sudden the whole family is stuck with a massive collection that they are not fans. They have no clue, what's going to happen to the Lego collection. And it's not like my uncle's stamp collection. It really isn't like my uncle's stamp collection. I don't know what the monetary value of my uncle's stamp collection is. Not. I didn't want to know, and I didn't care. He was happy collecting stamps, and we gave him stamps that we had. But it was, I can guarantee easily, his stamp collection was worth far more than this Lego collection. Easily far more than this Lego collection. But he had it set up, and he lived to be almost 90. So, but he set it up so he had 3 kids. So the stamp collection got divided by 3 for 3 kids, and yet it was small because it's a stamp collection. It's in binders. It's in totes. The kids could do whatever they want to sell it, whatever, but keep it easy to maintain. This, I'm looking at it, and I'm going, Josh isn't going to want this, like whatever. Not the way it is. And I do not want to saddle Sandy and Josh with worrying about what happens to the Lego collection if something happens to me. And so it's amazing when you get old, even with no health problems and no other problems in your world that would facilitate a reason to think about this. But as you see that 60 number coming down the track towards you, you go, huh, I should start reevaluating. Now I'm gonna, straight up, for all my friends out there, I'm gonna live 100% in my head. I'm gonna live to be at least 92. Write it down. I am going to live to be at least 92. My Opa, that's granddad for you non-Dutch folk. My Opa lived to be 92, and he was perfectly healthy up until right before he passed away. He was out in this garden. He loved this garden. He grow his beans, his tomatoes, his whatever. He loved this garden. He had 5 acres out there at 90, rototilling, shuffling, scuffling, weeding, growing, planting. Loved it in his 90s. And that's going to be me doing this. Now, I'm not going to bring my space layout as it is to a show when I'm 90. I can guarantee that. but I'm going to be, you guys aren't going to lose me in my 60s and 70s and 80s and into my 90s. I'm going to be doing shows. I love it is, and I said this without any sense of, Dave makes everything. I love everything. Shows right now my most favorite thing to do. Period. I mean, everything else I still love to do. I love to build. I love to think about. I love to, design the stuff. The various projects I got ongoing that never seem to get completed. But I love going to shows, being at shows, sitting with people at shows, and talking about my chosen hobby and their chosen hobby, and be feeding off of each other again, getting enthusiastic about their enthusiasm. I said that's my favorite thing to this, and going to other people's hobbies too, like I said, my cousin Rick and blah blah. But I absolutely love shows, so I'm going to be doing shows for a very, very long time, straight up. And I want to bring something, but the whole point is, when you start getting up there past the half-century mark, and I am past the half-century mark now, that you start pontificating. Start ruminating, you start contemplating, not your existence, leave that for the other people, because I exist. So, but you start thinking, I've seen it happen before with others, and sometimes it was a friend of a friend, so I didn't know the people directly, but I remember on LugNet we talked about it, and I know that I was not anymore because I haven't kept up, but I was good friends with some people on LugNet and Bricklink who have a huge investment in the Lego hobby, really big Bricklink stores, who were, I would consider, personal online friends of mine, and they would do appraisals of collections, and so you start thinking about that, but like, what can I get rid of, and blah blah blah, and I think right now is a perfect time for me because I'm healthy, and I'm going to shows, and I got stuff, and I am in a complete mood to downsize on a completely different reason because I have too much, and I just get, I'm getting to the age where I want to be more organized, and as more organized, it has to be smaller because it's harder to organize a bigger collection. And as I said, I'm trying to find a piece. It gets like, oh my God. And so combining all these factors together right now that I'm going through this year, that I've started ruminating about when I hit 50, but I never did anything consciously about it until now, is that I am really going to start doing stuff to my collection that's going to make me downsize and make it more organized at the same time. So the way Jeff sorts and does his collection, I'm going to start doing with mine, not carte blanche, or not across the board, not with everything, but also I am not going to, if somebody wants something and I have it, I'm not going to, oh, shouldn't I? I'm gonna yes or no, right then, make this, yes, you get it. We'll come up with a nice value for it. What I don't want to do, and this is kind of also where this is going, and some of you have voiced appreciation for my saying that, if you guys are missing parts from this era, and I think you guys know what my era is, if you're missing parts from that and you say, oh, I can't find this part, or it's in Bricklink, it's in Singapore, and it's whatever, and you're in the area, we'll work out a price. What I don't want to do is open up a Bricklink store. Straight up, I don't want to open up not yet anyway. And so if you come at me with 100 items on a list, I'm going to say, then I just might as well open up a Bricklink store. So, like, if you're coming at me, I want to complete a Galaxy Explorer and I need 80 pieces. Really? Like, you need 80 pieces? If you are missing a rare piece that you think I might have, or 10 rare pieces you think I might have, please send me an email or a text or whatever. But if you're trying to complete like this set and you ask me for like 150 pieces because you want to complete the set, just go to Bricklink and get the pieces from there, because I'm not interested in pulling lots like I would do if I had a Bricklink store. Because if I wanted to do that, I'd have a Bricklink store. so if you, and again, I don't want to dissuade or at all hinder you guys from contacting me. I've sent some very good and dear friends of mine printed bricks or plates because they were trying to complete the space isolation base, and they needed 2 pieces. Oh, dude, I got you covered. Here you go. He said, oh, I'm missing those 2 printed pieces. In the mail. Not a problem. Instantaneously, not a problem. And I've talked about, like, I'm reconstituting these sets behind me that I'm missing pieces. So even I miss pieces. Like I have, I mean, to be said, I have every one of these things already built. But I got 90% of these ones built too, or more than, and I want to finish them, put them in a baggie and whatever, put them away. So I have no problem. I don't have a problem going to Bricklink to get parts for me. I'm not going to hit you guys up for parts. Why would I do that? I'm just going to go into Bricklink. I'm going to say, oh, I need some trans-yellow antennas. Well, Bricklink, order, done. That's what I'm doing. But if again, Bricklink is going to be for those, for me, it's for those parts that I know I can just easily get on Bricklink. But if you have like a set from 1979 or 1976, and you say, oh, maybe Dave has that part and he can send me 10, we'll work out a price well below the Bricklink average, and I'll send them to you. But if you're looking to complete sets and hitting me up every week for thousands of parts, then I'm a Bricklink store. And that's what I don't want to do yet. Now, to be said again, to keep on going with this, I may, when I am retired, open up a Bricklink store because I'll have the time. And if I get, and on top of which, if I get this thing completely organized like Jeff has his organized, Maybe then I'll also open up a Brickling store. Maybe. I don't know. That is, again, pontificating, contemplating, ruminating. I don't have my thesaurus in front of me. Thinking about that idea. I've been thinking about that idea forever. I'm on Bricklink all the time, and why don't I open up a Bricklink store? I just don't want the hassle. I mentioned it the last video or a couple of videos. Fundamentally lazy. This is me. Fundamentally hardcore lazy. Because I want to have fun. I want to have fun. I don't want to worry. I don't want the, this piece is all scratched up and he didn't say it was all scratched up in his Bricklink store. It's used. Like, I'm not going to sell you crap. So, but if you're expecting a piece from 1976 to be mint, I didn't put mint in my, well, I had a store. I wouldn't put mint. I said, I tell you guys, if you're ordering parts from me, I said it to my buddy Grant. He was asking me for the trans yellow bricks, because he's got a way of cleaning them up. And I said, I'll bring my entire bag of my 1x bricks and my 2x bricks, and you can decide which ones you want to clean up and which ones you don't, which ones are too far gone or whatever. I'm not making a determination for you. And some of those things are so, they're not even translucent anymore. Forget transparent. You can't see light through them. They're so scratched up. so like, and I would not get, some of you asked me for 1x6 brick and I'm going to send you this piece of crap. No, I'm going to send you usually the best piece I have that I'm not going to use. But that's effort, that's extra effort, and I don't want to do that for hundreds of pieces. I want to do that for tens of pieces. So, anywho, back to this. So, in order for me to complete this set, I have to put these two pieces on there. And again, so I did completely forget. Let me just close that. I did completely forget that in the standard original colors of Lego, that I usually have a bag of the specialty pieces, and they're all in there, and they go in there, and that goes back in the shelf. So this is 45 degrees. This is when over here. This is when I originally looked at, and I couldn't find any of the specialty pieces. And I'm going, they got to be somewhere, and I completely forgot that there was another bin because it wasn't underneath it. They usually, I put all the slope pieces together, but for white, because I don't care, they were just kind of strewn about. So I even did that cleanup, and I said, oh, I got another bin of 45, and oh, look, I can see the plastic right there. Don't. So I should have remembered that when I was building this guy. This is miscellaneous, and this is 33 degrees. So miscellaneous can be sorted better, and again, if I get to the plain old boxes, it might be sorted better. But again, with miscellaneous, there's big and tiny pieces. They got cheese slopes and the 1x2 cheese slopes and some other small pieces, and they got the big 3x10 slope bricks that came in. A lot of came in the Mars missions or whatever it was called, the white and orange and trans orange stuff. So yeah, I may, I'm gonna do this nicely. Let's pull it off here. This is fun. This is me on the fly, not trying to break trans blue, because it will break. I'll take that off. There we go. Done. Breaking it right down. And this is also my memory, by the way. I used to have this one memorized when I was younger. There's very few sets right now that I can build from memory. The 918, not a problem. The 6890, piece of cake. This one, because it has some, a lot of plates and stuff. There are friends of mine out there that know how to build this thing from memory. I used to have this by memory, and I do not anymore, unfortunately. And that's just because I haven't built one in a long time. There was actually a lot of sets back in the day that I could build from memory, not including the Galaxy Explorer, because that is just like, I would have been nice to have that memorized, but there was no way I was memorizing those sets of instructions. I could make a reasonable facsimile of the Galaxy Explorer, but I did not have the Galaxy Explorer instructions memorized. The 6880, piece of cake. I can build it right now in my sleep. So there we go. And these go in the 45 degree bin right there. So now this guy's done. And I'm going to, I don't know if I have a bag big enough for him. Open up a brand new bag of zipper seals. Let's see. That will not fit. So, say it'll be, I'll wait till I get bigger bags. What do I got in here? Here we go. Done. Now, the one thing I have to do before this Dave show, is the, it's mobile, the one with the TransClear antenna, shield antenna, the, oh, forget, not monitoring station. This is the problem with memory, because I love that one. 854, I can't remember. Tracking station, the mobile tracking station, I think it's called. I used to have that in layout, and now I don't. I went to the last show at Bricks and the Six, and it wasn't there. And I'm going, I must have removed it for something, probably to take pictures or something. And it's probably because I also found more TransClear antennas, or TransClear dishes. I'm going to take those off because they'll break off. I'm going to take those off because those will break off. Put them in there. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm going to, maybe we'll fit in there. Let's just see this guy. So I have to go find that in one of the bins. My issue is that I have a lot of bins out there. So, and I'm going to have to organize those bins now. So I'm going to do that. No, that's not going to fit. That is not going to fit. So I'll just waste a big bag, a very big bag on this little guy. Wrap them up, zip it up, and this goes in a pile. So I got two Blacktron 2s in here. I got what's this one? Two of those. Remember, I did this in a video a while back. I got two of these in one lot, which was really awesome. So, I just put this one in a Ziploc right now. Woohoo! Ice Planet. Let's see what else I got in here. This one, again, I wasn't into this theme at all until I built it, and that's a recurring theme for me. Like the Robot Command Center, I wasn't into a theme until I built it, and the only theme that, or the only part of that my entire classic space love and appreciation, that rule holds up, that I just by looking at it, I didn't appreciate it, and then I built it, and I still don't appreciate it. It's RoboForce. and it's just, I want to be clear, it's good. It's not bad. It's good. I don't love it, but I have them because I want to be a completist. And oh, where is he? Did I even? Oh, I'm gonna stand up because I'm not the States right now. Oh, he's way back in there. He's way back in here. Don't drop him. Don't drop him. See, I actually have a RoboForce set together and not in a bag in the garage. See, it's not bad. But if everybody has their favorite, everybody has their least favorite. Least favorite doesn't mean bad. Least favorite means not their favorite or above them. So if you do those hockey playoff things or whatever, and you have like your 16 competitors, and you say, well, between these two, RoboForce is going to come last every time. It's just going to. I don't know what's going to come first. It vacillates. It really vacillates. 918 is just an absolutely perfect little set for me. But then if I take the nostalgic factor out of it, if I take the nostalgia out of, that's the first classic space that I ever got, and I had so many adventures with it. And it was after the big melt, so that's also a criteria, right? And this is like, so this is nature versus nurture and blah blah blah. I'm not going to get into the psychiatry that I took back in college, blah blah. But had the big melt not happened, and so this is pontificate time because we're already 30 minutes into this. I'll talk about this for a second. Had the big melt not happened in my life, would I be the fan I am today? That's a valid question, because trauma. And you can say, oh, why was that traumatic? And you can get into the various, it wasn't like, death of a relative or whatever. Trauma influences people in many, many ways. So would I have been a Lego fan today had that big melt never happened? Then again, it may have always happened even without the big melt, because I'm the youngest cousin and brother of all of my cousins and brother who had Lego, and I played with Lego since my earliest memories. And we got sets, and I was always excited to get sets. And even after the big melt, I had the same enthusiasm of getting sets. And then when my parents stopped buying me Lego, I bought my own Lego. Like, so the big melt was, yes, a traumatic event in my life when I was 10. Absolutely, 100% traumatic. But it wasn't like cutting off my arm or losing a relative. I don't want you to think I was like under my bed cowering and sucking my thumb. But it was something. It was not like, oh, the world's crashing down around me. But my entire Lego collection was gone. One shot. It's like, huh? Like, I remember it to this day. Like, and so I remember the good times of camping, blah, blah. But I remember that specific event to this day. I remember the smell of the kitchen. I remember the pot on the stove. I remember the entire evening. Now, I could have conflated in my memory from 50 years ago or 46 years ago. I could conflate in my memory. The events made me bigger than they were, but the canning pot's the same size. We have it here. So, anywho, that was a whole tangent on a tangent. I like RoboForce. I built all the sets. I have all the sets. I haven't done a review on them yet because I only did the 6800s to the 6900s, and I might do the other numbers later. I don't think I have all the Life on Mars and the Mars missions. I can almost guarantee I don't have all those, and definitely not Galaxy Squad. Forget it. I wasn't remotely interested in gathering all of them. Or Space Police 3. I got a lot of deep discounts on Space Police 3. And the only thing for Space Police 3 that makes it above RoboForce, which I do have all of them, is that they had such cool minifigs. And even the reissue or the reimagining of the Blacktron torso, which was just chef's kiss. Because I combined Blacktron and Blacktron 2, just chef's kiss for me. It was just awesome. So I bought Space Police 3 for the parts, and I didn't buy the big base. I didn't bother. I wasn't interested. And I also needed the Transdark blue cylinders for my layout, which I was starting to build at the time. so I bought some Space Police 3. But RoboForce, I acquired just through used lots. I never bought one new off the shelf. And as a matter of fact, I mentioned the 90s, specifically the 90s. I hardly bought any new sets off the shelf at all. Because, for me, Lego was the new Lego. And again, I was 100% hardcore making all my used purchases and flea markets and stuff like that through the 90s. Like, I bought more Lego in the 90s. This is a hard value to quantify, but I think overall I bought more Lego in the 90s because that's when I filled up the back of my pickup truck. That time going out to Selkirk I told you guys about, that was in the 90s. I bought more Lego in the 90s than any time in my life because I was single. I had a job and I had a pickup truck and I lived in my own place. Like well, we get to 98 when I bought the RCX, and then I met RTL Toronto. Early 2000s, I bought a lot of Lego too, but I don't think it even compares to what I bought in the 90s with the yard sales and the ad in the newspaper. I wouldn't know how big, like this, in the last 20 years, this has gotten a lot bigger, straight up, for sure. Because I had all my Lego collection, yet another tangent. I had all my entire Lego collection was in 2 piles of those Rubbermaid, whatever, 2.5, 3 feet long by this high, transparent, clear with the white lids on top. And there was two depths of them. I had 2 piles, 2 stacks, about 5 feet tall each. So 10 feet of those with my entire Lego collection in it. And I moved those from place to place. With the proviso that my RCX stuff was separate from the Lego collection. The RCX was in my RCXs, and all the parts and pieces for that was, I had a big toolbox and some other bins for my Technic pieces, because it was just easier for me to do than in those big huge totes. When I moved here, that 10 feet of, or 12 feet of, 6 feet each, well, 5 feet each, whatever, between 10 and 12 feet tall. There was 2 piles, one 5 or 6 feet tall. They came down here to the basement, and then I went over to, I think it was Zellers at the time. They had wooden shelves for cheap, made out of strapping, like cheap wooden shelves. And then I started eating a ton of ice cream, and this is actually factors into my Lego hobby. A ton of ice cream. I used to buy those Chapman 4-liter containers, the square ones, the cubed ones, down at the store down there, and I would just eat like one per watching. Well, I never watched 2.5 Men regularly, but whatever I was watching at the time, gone. Wash it, bring it downstairs, and I used that for my Lego collection because they were translucent. And they were, hey, I got the ice cream and I got this container on top of it. So I took 140 of those containers to the recycling center when I moved over to this kind of sorting. This is the storing. So, but I had 140. Now I always joke that I ate all 140 containers, but my friends also knew that I was using them for Legos, my Lego collection, and they would give me theirs. So I would say about 20 of the 140 I got from family and friends. 120 came from me. So that is what it is. And that's when we had the entire room as a Lego room. And so those containers fit nicely on those wooden shelves from Zellers or wherever they came from. And so everything was cheap. The shelves were cheap. The storage was cheap. I still use those Rubbermaid bins for the big stuff and the bullet holes and whatever, and the overflow of the basic brick. And then Janie got me into using those little, Sterilite, 3 big drawers and 2 little drawers on top, so 5 drawers all a piece. You buy them at Canadian Tire, and I bought 16 of those. So 2 stacks of 8 along the back wall of the house. That worked well, I'm going to say that. So I had ice cream containers, and I had those for the longest time. And then when we narrowed it down to this room specifically, I had those Sterilite, I think they're called Sterilite, along this back wall here. And that was okay, but I couldn't subsort with, and this is, a lot of people talk about this, and they do like the little TikToks about it, and YouTube videos about it, and dissertations about it, how to sort. There's always a time in every sorting career when they sort into Ziplocs and containers, which gets to be a little bit of a pain to do Ziplocs and containers, because then you're looking through all the Ziplocs. And I was a little fed up with that. So I got rid of the Sterilites. I think I gave some to Janie, and we sold the rest. And then I went this way. Billy bookcases from IKEA, $69 a piece. And there's 11 of them in here, so that's a little bit of money over the years. But we didn't buy them all at the same time. And then the $1 at the time, 96 cents. Now they're more expensive. The $1 Home Depot containers. And those, let's see, let's go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes, 15. 15 times 4, 35, 60. 60 of these containers fit on one Billy bookcase. 60. And I got 11 bookcases. Now some areas of these bookcases, some are inaccessible, so you can only get 3 across, but whatever. And that's why I like using these, because you can subsort and subsort and subsort. And then we get into these guys. Let's pull one of these off. Which we got the dollar store, which are like half the size of these guys. So even that gets a little smaller. And this is what I keep all my axles in, all my axles for Technic, and my pegs in, because I got enough pegs here. My gears and stuff like that. Stuff that I don't want to sort through something to get at. Because now if I'm building Technic, I used to do it all the time. Now it's much curtailed. I might get back into it, by the way. But I'm very comfortable with this room. I'm very comfortable with this room. What I would like to do right now, or in the near future, after I start downsizing and sorting better like Jeff does, is to this might become a bedroom. It may become a bedroom. We're still in the process of talking about that. But if this doesn't become a bedroom, we take out the wall again and make this one big basement again, and just have really, really nice shelves along the at least 2 walls, and with the bookcases that we already have, and then make everything look pretty. So when people come down here, it looks pretty. But then the Lego is completely accessible, and I do not want the Lego to expand past this room. At least the sorting part of the Lego to expand past this room. And so I want to do, here's my hair, is downsize enough where it's easier for me to sort, it's easier for me to maintain, it's easier for me to find pieces, and contain it. I do not want this to take over the house, and so far I've managed all these years to make it not take over the house, as well as make it easier for me and others, because I do want to say to my friends on Toro Lug, hey, come over to my place for a barbecue, and you guys can go to the Lego room and find pieces you might want and take home, and whatever, and an open house kind of thing, and because I am that kind of person. I love open houses, and inviting friends over. Sandy and I do have an open door policy. I grew up in a family that had an open door policy. My uncles and aunts, I could stop by anytime. Hey, Dave's here, let's have some tea. Right? Sometimes it's nice to call first, but especially on a Sunday after church, we're going to go see somebody. We're going to see Grandma, we're going to see Uncle Jeff, we're going to see Uncle Pete, we're going to see somebody after church every single week. And you show up, especially my Aunt Nell and Uncle George. Like, you just stop by anytime. You don't even have to call first. You stop by anytime when the farm's not in production. But especially in the wintertime and the fall, you stop by and the tea's ready and the cookies are ready. They're always ready for company. And Sandy and I tried to be the same way. So, but it's the 21st century, and people do call first, which is better than us just dropping by, cold calling. But I like people stopping in. I really do. And then we sit and chat. When people were coming to pick up their lug bulk orders, or that which cannot be talked about, but I think we can talk about it, because I grabbed all the stuff for Hamilton. Hey, come down and see the Lego room, because, hey, check out my Lego room. So if you're in the area, if you're from Texas or from Hawaii, my good friend in Hawaii, if you're from all the way out there and you're in Ontario because you want to see the falls, I mentioned before, we're 30 minutes from the falls. Come on over. We'll have the tea on for you. I'll give you the grand tour, which is like this 10-foot walkway. And then here we go, of the Lego room. And we can talk our favorite hobby. And we'll sip tea. We'll sit in the back deck, watch the sun go down, whatever. And that's also what I'm looking forward to when I retire, is that more talk, more comfort, more hanging around friends and just doing stuff. Nothing big. I do big occasionally, because again, I love doing the big shows. But doing something small, we're all going to do this little fall fair, and we're just going to bring some trinkets, like we did in Tillsonburg. I love Tillsonburg this year. I am so glad right now, and I should have done it earlier, I'm so glad that I got into Toro Lug. I'm really happy about it. Now, as people keep on saying, RTL Toronto was awesome. It really was. RTL, awesome. but Toro Lug, so far for me, but not for other people, but for me, they're doing a fantastic job to keep me wanting to be there. And they're not doing it specifically for me, because I shouldn't be the one that they're kowtowing to. But what they're trying to do with the community outreaches and blah, 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 nicely done. I'm not going to know everything. I will not go to everything. Expect to see, we talked about this before, expect to see me when you see me, because that's how I have to run my life. That's how I've always run my life, and I do apologize in advance for that, but it's just the only way my life works. But I want to be there, and I want to support this, and so Anyway, so many tangents, and we're at 44 minutes. I think hopefully I got everything wrapped up. I did finish the all-terrain vehicle and the other one. Right back here. Such a great set. and what I notice now, off and on, what's this one? Oh, just a little robot. It's really odd too, because this guy right here, I don't know if you can see him. I'm gonna pull it out. I don't know why it runs up like that. He's been together forever. He used to, if you go back and look in the 2007, 2008 videos, he'd be in the layout sometimes. And even this guy, again, why is it up like that? This guy was in the layout a few times too, and they're still together. And oh look, Trans-Yellow Antennas, which will stay there. So I ordered more from Bricklink, just so I can complete these sets here. I am going to take apart the Yellow Castle because it is complete, except for the minifigs. I don't have any Bricklink orders for that. But this guy needed pieces. That guy needed pieces. This guy needed pieces, but not on the ship itself, but on the robot. So I ordered those pieces. And this guy needed a couple pieces. I know I have the doors for the containers, but he also needed that 1x2 brick with black stripes on it. So I ordered that, and that was actually expensive, but in a relative sense. But I don't mind ordering that. This guy is complete, so I'm going to put, well, actually, sorry, it's not, because I'm still waiting for that one trans green panel. And I'm just going to pull this out here, just because. Thank you. I'm very humbled. So this is where I am right now. I'm going to get these sets completed. I'm going to put them in baggies, put them in the garage, and I may, because fall's coming, I may do a quick impromptu show in my living room and pull out just a bunch of sets and put them out and, you know, make a video just because. And on that note, on that specific note, again, ruminating, pontificating, thinking about, one of my, and see, this is what happens with me. I come up with a plan, an intricate plan. See, I come up with a plan, and that plan, when it comes to implementation time, usually 90% of that plan doesn't show up. and I'll say that. So the example I will give is that first Brick Fete in 2011. The layout was planned to look like it did at Bricks in the Six this year. But time, patience, money, lighting, with money, that wasn't there. It was started, but it wasn't there. So I had a plan. 90% of it did not show up at Brick Fete, the first one. And then as the Brick Fetes went on, more and more of the plan got implemented, until the last Bricks in the Six, which I think was about 80% of the plan. And there's still 20% in my head that I have to get out into the plan, and that's why it's not done yet. So one of my plans was to, well, that was broken too. I grabbed another one for my thing. One of my plans was to get, and I'm not going to talk about it because it's a whole tangent. One of my plans was to set up a monorail loop around the living room or whatever room I happen to be in, and putting my GoPro on it and starting with the earliest sets and just have the GoPro pointing out and just go slowly along, and then you go all the way from the 6800 to 6991 via the monorail, which I thought would be really, really cool. And then like do it slow-mo kind of thing. But I don't know how much effort I want to put into that, because that's effort. Again, fundamentally lazy. But I also don't want to go, bleh, and there's like ships everywhere, right? I want it to have some sort of cohesiveness to it. I want some sort of, hey, this is really cool. So I am still ruminating on exactly how I'm going to do it, but I am going to do it. And you'll see it when I get it done. So that's it. That's all. Everybody out there, stay safe, take care. This was a good talk, and I do tend to go on sometimes, and this is one of the times I went on. But I think this one was an important one for me to let you know where I am right now, to be very clear and articulate exactly where I am, because I think some people, and again, this is why I'm kind of not harping on it, but bringing it up a lot. Some people were really concerned when I didn't post for a while. And I really do appreciate the concern. It was just because life happened, business trips and camping and whatever. It was nothing else beyond that. So, and again, I've talked about my age a lot, and I don't want people to get the wrong idea about me talking about this all the time. As I have a tough time, for me, when I have thoughts in my head for an extended period of time, and this has been in my head for a long time, and there is no other reason for it except for the numbers approaching. And I have had older friends in the hobby that have, voiced their concern about what their stuff is going to be like when they get to the point where they can't handle it anymore, and who's going to take care of it. And then my Uncle John passed away, which is, he was 86. And then he had a stamp collection that was in a context comparable to a Lego collection, where it's big and the kids don't, what are they going to do with it, kind of thing. So you start thinking about it, and you're not dwelling on it and like, I'm losing sleep over it. But you start thinking about it, and you start thinking about what you don't want your family to take care of, because this is mine, not my ownership. Hey, you can't touch get off my grass. This is a bad way of putting it. This is my cross to bear. It shouldn't be their cross to bear when the time comes, because this is not their hobby. This is my hobby. This is what brought me love and treasures and memories and whatever stuff like that. And they would take care of it in the best way they possibly could. And I would not, if I was, looking from above, I would not have a problem with whatever they decided to do with this stuff. I want to alleviate that part of the process. I guess that's the best way of putting it. I would want to alleviate that part of the process for them. I want to preempt that by, first of all, downsizing, keep on talking about it, and organizing, keep on talking about that, and getting a coherent plan. Now, if 90% of the plan doesn't come to fruition, that's fine, because that's my entire life. But have a plan for it that I convey to them, have it written out. And again, I don't have to worry about it for 30 years, because I'm living in 92. I know what you guys are doing, but I'm gonna be around for the next at least 30 years. So this is a plan that I'm coming up with, and this is what I want to do. And in context and in coordination with all the shows I want to do, with all the people I want to hang around, with all the fun I want to have. And so I feel bad that I missed Fan Expo this year, because we were camping. I think it was the camping weekend. But we were camping, and that family, we had that booked, and I love camping as well. So, but next year I hopefully will be at Fan Expo. I personally think, even though I think the layout would be fine at Fan Expo. I mean, they loved it at Anime North, so I don't know why they wouldn't love it at Fan Expo. So I do plan on being there next year. See what happens. But that's why I said I want to do more stuff, more public stuff, more, because my absolute love is to being at shows and talking with people, either complete strangers walking up and checking out everybody's stuff, or my friends who are also displaying at the same show. One of my favorite memories right now, this year, for shows, was just being at Bricks and a Six and just talking to fellow fans for 4 days. It was awesome. It was so comfortable. It was, I mean, Brick Vet, I was completely comfortable with because I knew the organizers. They're best friends of mine. This was comparable to that. My comfort level at Bricks in the Six. I know that I am who I am. But the organizers and the people who were running the show and the people who were at the show displaying were absolutely fantastic. And
Hi.
I'm making a video. I like it. I like it.
It's comfy.
Yeah.
Continue on.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
No. So, and Josh had a good time too. Did you have fun at Bricks in the Six?